Hello everybody, this is Dr. Asma Maghdem. I will be teaching you this session, and today's session is about integrated skills approach. So let's go together and have an overview. Integrated skills approach is a wide topic actually. It cannot be covered in one session. So the topic will be divided into two sessions. The first session is today, and then tomorrow will be another session. Okay, the overview is about the whole topic, not only today's session. Okay, so the general overview about the topic includes, we're going to have some opening activities. That would be, by the end of this session, you should be able to, these will be answered and know about integrated skills approach, what you already know about in the session. So what are you gonna do? Two questions. How much time do you have? 3 minutes. Great, go ahead. Now, the second activity, that's you're going to watch a video in order to answer the following questions. We have 4 questions that you are going to watch the video to find their answers. The first question is, what is integrated skills approach, of course. Second question, what are some examples of this approach that are mentioned in the video? Third question, how do you teach this approach using blogs? And fourth question would be, how do you teach this approach using applications? So again, in your group, you have 5 minutes. You're going to watch the video in order to answer these 4 questions. So what are you going to do? Yes, you're going to watch the video. Are you going to answer individually or in groups? Great, in groups. How much time do you have? Wonderful, 5 minutes. Let's watch the video together. Okay, now after watching the video and answering the questions, it's time to move to the next activity. And the next activity is rearrange the following phrases to form the definition of integrated skills approach. So I'm going to show you the definition, one of the definitions of integrated skills approach, but it's not arranged. I want you to work together in your group again and rearrange the phrases in order to form the definition, right? You have 1 minute to do that. Okay, so what are you going to do? Yes, rearrange the phrases in order to form the definition. Are you going to work individually or in groups? Yes, in groups. How much time do you have? 1 minute. Wonderful. Go ahead. Okay, let's check out our answers. So what is integrated skills approach? The first definition, that's the one I showed you. It's an innovating approach that consists of the linking of the language skills for the purpose of real communication. Okay, so what does it mean? The next definition might make it a little bit clearer. It's simply a series of activities or tasks which use any combination of the 4 skills in a continuous and related sequence. Again, I think that's not that clear. Let's move to the third definition that would make it much more clearer. The integrated approach is the teaching of the language skills of reading, writing, listening, and speaking in conjunction with each other, as when a lesson involves activities that relate listening and speaking to reading and writing. In short, or in brief, or generally, it means, or it refers to linking two or more of the traditional four skills, that's writing, reading, speaking, and listening, of language learning. So we never teach the skills separately. At least we link two skills. We teach two skills together: reading and writing, listening and speaking, reading and speaking, and so on. Why should we use integrated skills approach? Why is it a good thing to do? First, the integrated skills approach exposes EFL learners to authentic language and challenges them to interact naturalistically in the language. Second, in this approach, the learners gain a true picture of the richness and complexity of the English language as employed for communication. English becomes a real means of interaction and sharing among people. It's nothing that's superficial. It's something that's real. Students feel that they are not just learning, they are actually practicing the language. Integrating the language skills also promotes the learning of real content, not just the dissection of language forms. And finally, the integrated language skills, whether in any form, can be highly motivating to students of all ages and backgrounds. Now you're going to ask me about what content-based or task-based language instruction are. This part we're going to discuss next session, inshallah. Now, what are the techniques for integrated language skills? We have actually two techniques. The first one, that's simple integration, and the second one, that's complex integration. So what happens in simple integration? In simple integration, we integrate only two skills, no more. Okay, so it might be, or they might be oral medium, like receptive with productive, that are done orally. Like what? Yes. So we have the receptive skill that's done orally, that's listening, and the productive skill that's done orally, that's speaking. So we teach listening and speaking together. Or written medium, that's again receptive with productive. What are the written, the skills related to the written medium? Receptive, that's reading, and productive, that's writing. So we teach, either we teach listening with speaking, reading with writing, or are there any other forms for simple integration? Now, this is a question for you to discuss in your group. I showed you an example, or I gave you an example of oral medium, that's listening, teaching listening with speaking, or written medium, that's teaching reading with writing. Okay, so are there any other forms of simple integration? Okay, you have 1 minute to discuss this question with your group. So let's see some of the forms. We can teach receptive with productive, listening with writing, or reading with speaking. So it's not necessarily to be totally oral medium or totally written medium. Listening and writing, written, oral and written, reading and speaking, again, written and oral. Or productive, receptive, we can start with the productive activity that's speaking, and then move to the receptive one, that's listening. Or we can again start by speaking and then move to reading. Productive, yes, we can do this. We can teach speaking. When we talk about teaching writing, we usually start by brainstorming activities in order to brainstorm our students' minds about the topic that they are going to write about. So brainstorming, sometimes it's a speaking activity, right? And then they move into the writing activity. This is an example of the written medium, reading and writing, group story writing. Okay, so these are the steps for the group story writing. So in this game, this game works well with all levels and can be used to write funny stories using the target language of your choice. First, put students into groups. So you're going to divide your students into groups, okay, and then hand out each group a piece of paper to each student. Next, read a cue to the students. Read them, give them a sentence as a starter of the story, and have them write a sentence at the top of the paper. And then they fold the paper so their sentence is hidden and pass the paper to the person on their right. Each student should receive a new piece of paper each time they pass it on, and so on. Okay, so you divide your students into groups, and then you give each student one piece of paper. Then you give them maybe the title of the story, the first sentence of the story, and then you ask your students to, each one of them, to write a sentence. And after writing the sentence, of course, related to the topic, okay, or the sentence that you provided in the beginning of the story, then they fold the paper and pass it to their right. And then, so each student will receive a new piece of paper, and then he will need to write a new sentence relating to the previous sentence. And after writing the sentence, they fold the paper and pass it on, and so on. That's a really nice activity in which students read the written sentences and then write a relating sentence to this, and so on until the time ends. And then you get your students read their stories, and you maybe make like a poll in the classroom in order to choose which story is the best or the funniest or the strangest or whatever, according to what you want your students to do. So this will be the end of our session today. Thank you so much. I wish you enjoyed the session. See you next time.